Hey guys, Koosh. Listen, I love a good shoot 'em up, and I'm sure you do too. We're going to cover a few of them today. The ESRB rating is going to be up in this hand corner, so that way you know what you're getting into if you decide to pick up a game. Other than that, let's get to it. Alright guys, so the first game we're going to cover is called Shikhondo Soul Eater. I don't have it physically, so it's got 4 difficulty levels: easy, normal, hard, and extreme. The game itself can be picked up physical or download on the PS4 or the Nintendo Switch, or you can download it for the Xbox One. It does have a few alternate gameplay modes, so you've got novice, boss rush, hardcore, and then a customized mode which you can determine how you gain power-ups and such. I would put this very strongly in the bullet hell category. You do have the ability to play it 2-player. It's a vertical shoot 'em up that starts off nice and slow, and it ramps up very quickly as the game progresses. Your score also goes up as you're shooting the bad guys. So if you're not shooting anyone, your score actually decreases as you go. The game is really colorful, and the bullets are nice and bright, so you can easily see them coming at you. The stages don't overstay their welcome either. Maybe they're about a minute or two, and then you're at the boss. And the bosses are very different, each one of them, so it's definitely a good challenge for you. As you're buzzing around, you can hold down the button and you will move slower, but you will gain power as you are shooting, and it also focuses your fire as well. There's a good amount of replay here, so you can do couch co-op, you can also do the boss rush mode. It seems like a very dark game because you're fighting a lot of demons and demonic, bad energy stuff. But it's very colorful at the same time. This is one of my go-to shoot 'em ups. I really enjoy playing this one. Now we're going to talk about Resogun. This is another digital-only game, but it's still fun and very much worth the download. You have 4 different difficulty levels: Rookie, Experienced, Veteran, and Master. It's downloadable on the PS3 as well as the PS4. There's a couple different alternate gameplay options here. You actually have weekly challenges, so when you're connected to the internet, you can get challenges from the website or from the PlayStation Network, and you can achieve different things that way. You can also play it in arcade and can do a single level option, and this is just a continuous playthrough. There's some DLC. I don't have it, so I can't really comment on it. I would classify this as just a regular shoot 'em up. It can get hectic, but I wouldn't consider it a bullet hell. For multiplayer, you actually have 2 different options. You can play it online or local couch co-op, which is nice. So Resogun is very similar to Defender in the way that it moves and plays. The graphics are city in a monochrome except for the humans. They're bright green and you will see them. And as you are killing aliens that also have a bright green tint to them, a human will be freed. If you don't kill all the aliens that have the bright green glow to them, the human will die. When you do kill them all, the human is freed, and then you go collect them. It's a fun game. I can't play it for a long period of time. This is like maybe a half-hour game play at most for me, but its explosions are glorious. So the next game I want to talk about is Nex Machina. This one is awesome. It's very fast-paced. You definitely have a lot of visuals going on here. The difficulty levels are Rookie, Experienced, Veteran, and Master. You can only get Master when you've completed the game on Veteran, so be prepared for a challenge. It's available physical and as a download on the PS4 only. You also have an online arena option. I did not get into this, so I don't want to comment on it. You do have a 2-player couch co-op, which is nice. And there's no waiting. As soon as you hit that start button, you are in the game. You ride a motorcycle for about 5 seconds and you're in the action. It's dark backgrounds and the level is in high contrast to the bright enemies and the beautiful explosions that they create when they die. The soundtrack isn't overly techno-y, but it does move along and keeps you going. When you clear a level, you know it by the bright blue streaks that come flying at you, which indicate that you're about to be teleported to the next level. There's also humans to rescue on the levels, and you want to do that before finishing off the last guy, because when you do, you will be teleported even if you don't have all the humans. It can get crazy, but it's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed playing this, and this twin stick shooter is one that I will come back to and will finish. Next up, we're going to talk about Geometry Wars, and this one is an absolute blast. It's very, very colorful. It's very quick moving. It's available physical and via download on the PS4 and Xbox One, and it's also available as a download only on the PS Vita. It doesn't have difficulty levels per se, but you can get different stars as you go through the levels. The alternate gameplay modes, you have basically your campaign mode, but then you also have ultimate and then classic. And then under classic, you have a couple different options as well. This is a fun little twin stick shooter, and you can actually play up to 4 people local co-op with it. You can also play it online too. It's very bright and colorful, and the techno dance soundtrack definitely keeps the game moving along. And in adventure mode, the levels are nice and short, so they don't really overstay their welcome. The visuals, though it's only line drawings, are very bright and vivid and are beautiful. There's no loading times, so as soon as you hit this level select, you are in the game. It reminds me of the old vector graphics. It's got a very similar graphic style to Tempest 4000, but I would definitely put this one higher ranked than that. And you can pick it up for cheap now. This is a great party game. I could definitely see breaking this out and playing this with a group of people. So the next game we're going to talk about is called Super Hydorah. And this is definitely a fun shoot 'em up. There are no difficulty levels, so what you get into is what you get into as far as the game goes. It's physically available for the PS4 and the PS Vita, and then you can also download it on the PS4, the PS Vita, the Switch, and the Xbox One. The game also has a 2-player couch co-op option, so you can play with a friend as well. The level select screen has some branching path choices, which is a nice feature to have. The game is thin on story. There's aliens, you gotta kill them before they kill you. There's nothing fancy. This shoot 'em up, you're just gonna have to play through and learn the levels and know how the different enemies act to you and how the bosses come at you. It's just a matter of level memorization. In my opinion, this one would fit very well on the Super Nintendo or the Genesis era. If you like shoot 'em ups from that period of gaming, you're gonna love this one. Next game we're going to talk about is Tempest 4000. I am not a fan of this game in the slightest. You can select 3 different levels to start on, but there's no classic, easy, medium, or hard selection. You can get this physically or by download on the PS4 or the Xbox, and I would consider this a tube shooter or an on-rails shooter. I'm not a fan. The style is a throwback to the vector graphics of the original Tempest. But between this one or the Geometry Wars, I would pick up Geometry Wars. The soundtrack has a good techno beat and it moves along. Tilting the controller does something, but I couldn't really figure out what it was. It's okay. It's not that great of a shmup in my opinion. I couldn't get into it. The next game we're going to talk about is Pawarumi. It has 3 difficulty levels: easy, normal, and hard. You can get this physically on the PS4, or you can download it on the PS4, the Nintendo Switch, or the Xbox One. There's no alternate gameplay here. It's just the story and that's it. The game is also only a single player as well. In the game you have 3 weapons, a red, a green, and a blue shot. And each of them does more damage to a specific other color. Shooting red with blue will do one thing. It might do more damage. If you shoot light color with light color, you gain back your shields. If you shoot red with green, you gain an ability called Crush. And when you've got it filled, you can do a super attack. It's a story of revenge, and you can very easily skip if you want. The backgrounds are more muted, and the enemies definitely show their colors brightly. The soundtrack has a lot of depth to it, and it keeps a dramatic feeling going. I really like this, and I will come back to this one. The 3-color idea is definitely something different. Now we're going to talk about R-Type. With this game, you actually get 2 games, the original R-Type and R-Type 2. It's available physically in download for the PS4 and the Nintendo Switch, and for Xbox 360 players, you can get this as well. There is a 2-player couch co-op option as well for playing. It's fun. This is one of the shooters that I've never really been great at, so the infinite lives mode was definitely a help for me. The story is aliens, yeah, those kind of aliens. They come and they want to kill us. The best feature about the game is the infinite lives, at least for me, just because I'm not that great at it. Another nice feature is you can actually toggle what I want to call a retro filter. It can be played in all its pixely glory if you want, and it's not just the visuals that change, it's also the audio that changes as well. Now we're going to talk about a game called Full Blast. Full Blast has 3 difficulty levels, easy, normal, and hard. You can buy it physically on the PS4 or you can download it on the Nintendo Switch. It's just a regular shoot 'em up. You can play a 2-player couch co-op with this as well. This is one of the easier games on the list to get through. It's not quick by any means though. You're flying very slowly. It has 10 levels and they move slow, and I mean slow. The game's prompts for what's coming next gets very repetitive as well. The soundtrack is rockin' though. It's think like 80s hair metal. If you want to introduce somebody to the shoot 'em up genre, this would be your game. It's slow enough and easy enough to get anybody into it. It's very linear. There's really no reason to replay levels you've already beaten. The story is like so many others. Aliens are invading and you have to kill them. One of the nice things about the game though is that once you've beaten a stage, you can go back to the next one without having to play all the way through it again. Now we're going to talk about Psyvariar Delta. Psyvariar Delta has a couple different, very easy, all the way up to very hard, and you can actually tweak it and make it even harder by limiting the number of lives or bombs. You can get this physically or via download on the PS4 or the Nintendo Switch. You've got a couple different gameplay options as well. Replay Mode Plus, it lets you pick a level and then you go through it and you keep your score for just that level. You also have Score Attack, so you just keep going, but you don't get any continues, so once you die, you're done. This is a 2-player couch co-op game, which is nice. It does have branching difficulty paths. It does have a fast-paced techno soundtrack. Someone could very easily take this and use this down at the club. The game itself loads very quickly. You can't even tell that it's doing anything. There's no black screen, there's no loading prompt, nothing. No story, you just get in and shoot some up. The bullets are bright and colorful, so you can very easily see what's coming at you. The levels are very short, no more than a minute each at max. There is a leveling up system. You get experience by how close you get to the bullets. However, I don't see an actual increase in damage as you get the levels. The 2 on the cover of the game, you would figure they'd be speaking to you or prominent somewhere. No, they're nowhere. Nope, they're not anywhere. They don't talk to you at all. Their 2 names are Sakura Diesel and Rosalie Atomic. That's it. That's all you'll ever know about them. It's a fun game, but all you need to know is hold down X to shoot, and to move more slowly and fire in a more concentrated shot, you hold down R2, and bomb is the O button. Now I'd like to talk about a game called Gundemoniums. Gundemoniums has 4 different difficulty levels: Novice, Revised, Unlimited, and Demonic. It's available physically and via download on the PS4 and the PS Vita, and you can also download it on Windows as well. There's no alternate gameplay modes here. It's just straight story mode. I would definitely put this in the bullet hell category, and it's also only a 1-player game. It's a side-scrolling shooter that has bright enemies. I would definitely put this also in the shoot 'em up camp. In my opinion, it has a bit of a Western vibe. Maybe it's just because you're using revolvers, but the train level and some of the enemies seem to Well, yeah. It's definitely colorful and fast moving. The levels are broken up into sections, I would call them, but if you die, you start back at the beginning. There's 5 levels to the game, but each of them is fairly large. Not too long, but well built for the pacing of the game. I found myself mostly holding down the regular fire button of O and then using the burst fire of R1 when I needed it. Very rarely, except for bosses, did I use the bomb or the goofy disc attack. This is one game that I'm very happy I have in my collection. Now we're going to talk about Gryphon Knight Epic. You've got 3 different difficulty levels: Squire, Knight, and Epic. It's available physically on the PS4, and you can download it on the PS4, the Xbox One, and on Windows as well. It's just a regular shoot 'em up. It's not a bullet hell. It moves very slowly. This is another good introductory shmup if somebody wants to try getting into him. It is also a 1-player only game. The game does have some branching path in the levels, but nothing that majorly affects the storyline. It moves slower than your typical shmup. However, it does give you time to plan and execute your strategy as you fly through the levels. It has a nice retro throwback pixely look to it, but the soundtrack doesn't carry that same retro flair. It has a game mechanic where you can turn around and go backwards through the level. This is useful because there's some instances where you actually have a choice of either going left or right. The only problem I have with this is you really need to be on that directional arrow in order for the screen to move. And if you go backwards to try and pick something up, it basically reverses you back out. Be warned, if you are looking for the physical version of this game, you are going to pay a pretty penny for it. This isn't my favorite shoot 'em up by far. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed going over those dozen games. I do have a couple more, so we are going to be doing another one of these videos. If you enjoyed the content, I hope you subscribe and hit that like button. It gives me encouragement to keep going and doing more content. Other than that, have a great day.